All right, so hey everyone, Fat Libertarian here. I wanted to talk a little bit about this growing or trying to grow secessionist talk. I mean, because that's all it is right now. It's just talk. And man, my face looks fat on this camera. But anyways, Ron Paul actually did a video on this whole growing secessionist movement, even though it's not really much of a movement. And the reason I'm downplaying it is just because you don't ask the man if you can secede from the man. You just do it. But anyways, here's what Ron Paul had to say on this. This country was born through secession. Some thought it was treasonous to secede from England, but those traitors later became our country's greatest patriots. One person's patriot is another person's traitor. One person's freedom fighter is another person's terrorist. And in the end, isn't that what we're talking about? You know, I, as an American, as someone who was born here in America, I always put the defense of liberty above country. I always put the defense of liberty, individual liberties, individual sovereignty above anything else. Party, country, even God. If God does not defend individual liberty, my individual liberty, then I don't want to have anything to do with him. It's that simple. I put individual liberty above everything else. It simplifies things down and keeps it in reality. Now, I think it's very important as we go forward to recognize that those who have put us in the situation we're in, those who have advocated for all of the controls, all of the TSA checkpoints, NDAA, the war on terror, all of these things which have grown the police state, all of these things which have grown the deficit to such a degree that it's now becoming a crisis on a daily basis. Those are the people who will be supporting and going after legislation which will keep us and outlaw the results of their consequences, the results of their actions. They must outlaw the results of their actions. This is the dangerous part of a government that becomes or is becoming more and more tyrannical, especially a government that's becoming poorer. So as it becomes poorer, it cannot let you respond. It can't let you secede. Therefore, civil war becomes a problem. Civil war becomes a threat as more and more want to secede, and as the federal government gets more and more tyrannical. They will outlaw the consequences of their actions. Therefore, if they destroy the dollar, they will then try to outlaw your ability to buy gold and silver, to use gold and silver, or limit it. Capital controls will become a problem. In the future, I mean, this is where everything is moving. As states, I mean, I say states are trying to secede. They're not really trying to secede. I wish they would. I wish they were more aggressive, or at least talk about it more. I wish states would be more aggressive in talking about secession. But honestly, I mean, not secession, I'm sorry, nullification. But again, I don't see any true nullification or secession talk. A lot of it's just bluster. A lot of it's like, well, I wish we could. And I know that secession in and of itself has negative consequences, and I get that. And I'm not necessarily even advocating that my state, Oklahoma, secedes, because they'll probably hang all gay people here. But I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. But I think that every state, of course, has the right of secession. And it's an interesting thing because a lot of people, I think, always look to, there's what history suggests states have rights to. And then there's what I think we have a moral right to. I don't care about history in terms of what has happened. I only care about principle. The defense of liberty. I only care about logic. You know, if you can defend your liberty and I can defend mine, then my state has the right to secede. If government's sole job is to defend our liberty, and in that light, that's the only way we can remain free, is if government is there simply to defend our liberty. And once it gets beyond that point, then we have every right, if not duty, to then secede. I mean, it just makes sense to me. So I think more, I mean, see, that's the thing about, like, I have to be careful sometimes even how I say things. I talk about a constitutional viewpoint. But really what we're talking about is a constitution that doesn't even really exist anymore. I mean, let's be honest. It's been eroded to such a degree, and I think even Ron Paul said this in his final speech, that our Constitution has failed us. Or we have failed our Constitution, might be a better way of saying it. Because, again, I put the defense of individual liberty, individual sovereignty, above even the Constitution, above the law of America. I put it above this country. I choose liberty over this fucking country. You heard me right. Fuck this country. I put the defense of liberty above this country. I mean, that's the bottom line for me. And I think that's true for most Ron Paul supporters. Liberty first, everything else second. Everything else second. So I think as we go forward, we're gonna be seeing a lot more of what we're seeing, but it's gonna get worse. I think that there will be. I do think there's a real civil war threat, but only if the federal government does not fail. If the federal government fails or defaults in any way, shape, or form, either on its currency or just bills it can't pay, and people stop trusting in the United States government. If that doesn't happen, then we're looking at more like a secessionist type of breakaway attempt. And let me tell you something. Barack Obama could very well find himself in a situation similar that we've seen in Syria and Libya. And the ironies will be so thick. It'll be amazing to witness. Someone who years earlier had said that how, that leader in that country was killing his own people. We very well could see the same type of activity here. I know that sounds unbelievable or unlikely or amazing, but if you could picture a country in which its currency is failing, Obamacare is being pushed throughout the land, and the currency is failing, weakening, they have capital controls in place, maybe even flight controls, you can't leave the country. Of course, if you try to leave the country, they'll probably confiscate most of your money. I mean, you have to change your mindset and look at it almost as though it's a movie. When the currency weakens and the trust is gone, that's not a pleasant society. And you have to understand that in that society, everyone's going to want to be first. Everyone's going to want to survive. And the best place to go to survive will be government, because that's where they're going to get a consistent paycheck and food, while the rest of society falls even further, at least in Obama's America. So people will gravitate towards government. Some will, most will, but they'll have the guns, they'll have the unbeatable proposition of being able to create currency and have police, prisons, and police force to do their bidding, military. It's an impossible thing to even envision, but I do worry about that as a future. It's more of a negative reality. I'm hopeful that we'll have a collapse of a sorts that will erase all of the damage that's been done to liberty. It won't be pretty, but it's still not my fault that it happened. I mean, it's the tyrannists' fault. It's the liberty destroyers who have put us in this place. But in order for us to respond to their actions, we have to be able to do it. And they will try to outlaw our ability to respond to their policies. So look for more of it. You're already hearing about it from overseas. I don't know if it was Greece or France or someone. One nation was trying to make it illegal to purchase so much amount of gold or something. I don't remember who it was. So you're already sort of starting to hear it. They're going to start outlawing reality. And we'll see what happens. It's not going to be pretty. I do think that in the end, though, I do think that maybe it's kind of like that old saying, you need to crack some eggs in order to make an omelet. That may be kind of what we're going to witness. Some eggs are going to be cracked. Some skulls are going to be fucked. But then we're going to get something out of it. I mean, there's going to be something good on the other side, more free. And yeah, more collapse, but it needs to happen. The cleanse needs to happen. The colon cleanse needs to happen in this nation. Throughout all nations, quite frankly, every nation that has a paper currency has a lot of work to do. I mean, they've got to... The other side of this, while it will lead to a lot of destruction, it will be a better tomorrow. It will be a more free, less fractious, less divisive tomorrow. It could be, but I don't know. We'll see. So that's pretty much it. That's not pretty much it. That's exactly it. So I turned the gain up on this, and I look really pale. So yeah, that's why it looks like that. But you can kind of see a little bit more detail or some bull crap. So that's it. Fat Libertarian out. See ya.